Thank you for having me. I know it's been what, a month now or a few weeks. I lost track of time, but yeah, I just been busy. Life's catching up to me, and but it's the way I want it. I wouldn't want it any other way. Because it was keeping me determined, focused, and I know a lot of the staff and guys tell me to slow down, but it's the way I've been operating since I started this journey.
Yes.
I really don't have time to sit on my hands. And I carry that mentality out here with me. So
Well,
I'm
I'm
glad to be here.
happy. I'm so happy that one, you reached out to us, and two, I invited you on for this little video that we will share with a lot of people. My question really is, you're only recently a free man. And when you and I spoke, you said, you spent the year before your release really doing some deep stuff, and you were utilizing your GOGI tools to get you ready for that. What I like to talk about are the tools of moving forward, how you utilize them, how did you prepare so that when you were released, suddenly you have a job, you've got offers for everything, life is really good. Not that it wasn't difficult, but it was a lot easier because you had practice for that year. Talk to me first about the tools of moving forward, why you like them, how you use them, and say hello to the little feral cat.
Hello.
Yeah, that
Hello,
little
feral cat.
Yeah, she adopted me, so I'm her adoptive mama.
Okay. Thanks.
Talk to me about the tools of moving forward and how they played a part in your reentry success.
Well, good question. Well, actually, Coach Taylor, it goes back to my initial board denial in 2018. At that moment, I felt a little discouraged, a little bit, disappointed. But I understood, where everybody was coming from, and so I had to reevaluate, refocus, and just get back on the ball. So at
Let's
that
talk
point,
about that for a moment. Where were you in 2018?
I was in Kern Valley
So
State
you were
Prison.
in Kern Valley State Prison and you had a hearing. And this hearing was to interview you for your readiness for release. Is that correct?
Correct.
You went to this hearing, and what did they say?
Well, they said I still lacked the insight. They said I had a rap sheet, a criminal history in prison that didn't come across well. They said I needed to further my education. I needed to lower my points, and just continue to staying away from negative individuals. So yeah. So at that point, it's I feel it's what I was doing anyways, but I also thought to myself, okay, I could do more. I see where they're coming from. So
All
that's
right.
when
So, Juan, let's stop right there because I get a lot of letters, saying they denied me. They're just going against me. They aren't going to give me a shot. They're blaming me for things I didn't do, things that happened a long time ago. It's unjust. I get a lot of that. I get a lot of the complaints that the board hearings aren't fair. They're rigged. They don't want you to win. But what I'm hearing from you is they told you, hey, you got a rap sheet of while you've been in prison and you need to lower your points. And you said, I saw where they were coming from.
yes,
That alone is major insight.
yeah. Well, after I processed it, like I said, at first I was discouraged, disappointed, but after I processed it for 3-4 days, a whole weekend, I realized, like, okay, they're giving you the roadmap here. Really, they're giving you the roadmap. So why am I looking at this through a negative lens, which I used to do before I started my transition? Why am I resorting to negative thoughts, negative they're gonna be there naturally. You're gonna get these negative thoughts, but why am I feeding them? Why am I nurturing those thoughts? So that's when I started again, like, okay, let me focus. Let me regain my focus. Let me lean on my tools. Let me lean on my coping skills. So positive thoughts. I started creating these positive thoughts and started realizing, okay, you're in control, Juan. You're in control. Get a hold of this. They just gave you the roadmap. So I get it. I get it. Believe me, it's discouraging. It's hurtful. It's painful. It's disappointing and all these other things. But you gotta process that and understand that you gotta get out of that negative mentality that has kept you in there for so long, and look at the positive. Look at the positive of it. You know, out of any situation, there's always positives. Like they say, the silver lining. So that's what I explored, and I realized in front of me was the roadmap. If I just continue and started checking off the boxes and just buckle down on certain tools, which for me, in my case, after uh, uh, a handful of months, I realized, okay, it's gonna be for me the tools of moving forward: claim responsibility, let go, and forgive. I said this is the perfect, wonderful opportunity to lean on these tools hard. You know, I'm a rely on these tools, and along with a couple of my favorites, as I said, belly breathing was always is my anchor tool. That's the one I always use to calm down, relax, think rationally, focus, and then use the front part of my brain. And then I started using the moving forward tools, you know? Okay, from this day forward, just continue to make choices that I'm gonna be proud of. So at the end of every day, I would do a little self-inventory, but in that self-inventory, I'm asking myself, okay, what choices did you make today that you're gonna be proud of when you wake up tomorrow in the morning, and do it all over again, and do it
So you
all
were
over again.
doing that every night? You were doing assessment? What were the choices I made today that I am proud of? You were doing that assessment every night?
Every night. I was doing that along with step 10 in the 12 steps, just self-inventory, just understanding that also that I'm not perfect. You know, there's times when I'll probably like get upset, get discouraged, or maybe even lash out or something in some way through a phone call or a coworker or something. And so every night I would process that. And again, it ain't like I just make all choices I was proud. There was some choices I was, you know, also like not so happy or not so proud about, you know. So I would have to go back the next day and apologize, seek forgiveness, seek like say make amends, you know. So it ain't, I'm not saying either that every day from that point on was a smooth road. No, it was challenging, you know, because I had to, like say, really buckle down, and not that I wasn't taking it seriously, but I feel like I had to be like at least 1% better each day than I was the day before. So and in that, like I just kept on leaning on particular claim responsibility. You know, it wasn't like I just started doing it. I was doing it, but even more so now. Like for example, I was at one point when I left Kern Valley, I ended up in Pleasant Valley. I ended up in the kitchen in there, and I'm all like, no, okay, it's cool, it's a job, but I gotta look for more. I gotta start making choices that I'm proud of. So first of all, start getting back into the GOGI tools, which it took me about a month and a half. I started by a month and a half later. Instead of, I was still in the kitchen, but I instantly got promoted to a kitchen clerk, and it just started. I started getting classes. I got back into college, and just continued making choices from day one when I got there. You know, putting in applications for self-help groups, okay, putting applications to get back into college, putting job changes in, and just one thing after another. I would just always like think there could be more. I could. What else can you do, Juan? Do choices that you are proud of,
So
and even if
one, a lot of people get discouraged because if you get a denial and you've done a lot of good work and you aren't getting written up and you really think you're doing a good job, you get that denial, then you get moved, then you get a job that's not really a cushy job, it's a hard job and it's not a fun job. How did you not get discouraged during this process?
uh well, along with leaning on my tools, just started uh leaning and associating with like-minded individuals, and
Okay,
that.
and here's another question. It's if my best friend smokes cigarettes and I quit smoking,
Mhm,
it's going to be so difficult for me to be around my best friend. But that's my
mhm.
best friend. If my best friends have a criminal mentality And I love my best friends, but I don't want to be criminal mentality. There's not only the loss of the behavior, but there's the loss of the community around it. If my entire life was spent in gang mentality, criminal mentality, addiction mentality, gambling mentality, whatever it is, my circle of friends, maybe my family, maybe my whole world revolves around that.
Yeah.
How are you able to make choices that clearly are not going to put you in the presence of the people you used to be in? To me, that sounds lonely. It sounds a little depressing. It sounds like, well, if this isn't my group, if this isn't my tribe, what does my new tribe look like? And am I even going to like them? Does
Yes,
that go through your mind?
definitely, definitely. There's many moments where I feel like lost. I feel out of place. I feel like I don't belong. And that was more so in the initial stages of my transformation. And when I got transferred in 2019 from Kern Valley to Pleasant Valley after that initial denial. So I'm in a new prison, new faces, and you know, you go to a new prison, everybody wants to know who you are, what are you into, what are you about, what is your past, what is your history, everything, you know. So yeah, at that moment, yeah, I feel like small. I feel like I don't belong. So instantly, like say, I started just attacking these self-help groups and volunteering in them. Like I said, for GOGI, like they didn't instantly let me in. I did tell them my credentials, I guess you could call them. So they allowed me to sit in, but not every time. And even there, it was a bit uncomfortable initially because I feel like an outsider and everybody's looking at me like, who's this guy? So I got a lot of those moments when I feel like I didn't belong. I feel uncomfortable. I feel lost. And there's guys from your past and they don't take you seriously. So at that point, you just let it be known and create boundaries. And it's interesting because there was this one guy that I had known for years, just doing time, you know, and he never took me seriously. And there was this one time when I actually had my mentor job already, and but he would tease me, and I would kind of just like let it roll off my back, no big deal. You know, he's my I guess prison friend. I guess if you could have a prison friend, but it just came down to one day, like say I see he wasn't taking me seriously, and I put him to the side and I told him, like, look, I don't think you're taking me seriously, so I'm gonna just kind of like, you know, distance myself from you. And not that you're a bad guy or nothing like that, but it just at this point we're two different points in our journey, and you know, I'm good, you know, and like I'll say hello, and I just don't feel that we should be engaging in stuff, interacting no more because he was still into like certain activities in prison. So as soon as I convey that, it's like he just mentally, like he didn't lose it, but he started kind of verbally like not insulting me, but borderline insulting me and telling me, well, I don't know why all of a sudden you're switching up. I don't know why all of a sudden we can tease each other. I don't know why all of a sudden it's, it bothers you. And I told him, well, yeah, at this point it does bother me. So I would appreciate it if you just like stop it, you know? And he just kept on going and going. And I just had to like remain firm and just withstand his verbal attacks, you know, or insults, I guess I should say, because he kept on saying like that, what kind of mentor am I if I'm getting mad and look at you? And he's like poking me and teasing me. And I'm just like, he's not letting the emotions get the best of me. But hey, you know, I had to like create those boundaries. And after a couple of weeks of him being angry and looking at me mean and all mad, and he started coming back around. He started coming back around.
Did he really?
He did. You
Oh,
know, he started coming back around. He apologized, and you know, and after that, we were kind of cool, you know. But my point is, like, yeah, sure, a lot of these dudes will tease you and kind of try to provoke you or just, I don't know, nitpick at things. But I think at the end of the day, they kind of wish they were uh, doing what you're doing. They wish they were simulating some of your actions, you know. It just they don't know how to do it. They're lost. They're so deep into their addictions and their criminal thinking that they're the ones that are lost, really. Although I feel lost, they're the ones that are lost. Because I
Right.
was there at one point too. So I know that they're lost. So after that, it was good though. We ended up, it was never the same, but it didn't prevent me from still helping the guy out and trying to encourage him and whatnot. But as I said, he was still flirting with them criminal activities. So sadly, right before I actually paroled last December, a month or two prior to that, he ended up back in the hole.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, unfortunately, like I say, he's lost in his own mind, and I did 28 years, and at this point, he had been incarcerated about 30 years. So sadly, he just doesn't get it. I don't know. He's lost.
Yeah.
So
28 years. Did you ever think you would be a free man?
initially, I would say no, because I had juvenile life without parole. I had Lwop.
Ah,
So initially, no, I was hopeless. I embraced the whole criminal culture, the whole gang culture inside prison. I embraced it all. I embraced it wholeheartedly, letting my sentence dictate the person I was, or became. And yeah, so initially I did think like I'm a someday get killed in prison or die in prison and get sent home wherever home was in a body bag. So yes, I mean, I did think I was gonna die in prison many times.
I think there are a lot of men and women behind bars who are looking at a long stretch of time ahead of them, and they feel that way. They feel, well, this is where I'm going to die. And you with the juvenile and you LWOP, I mean, really, for you to even be a free man is extraordinary. It really is extraordinary. If you were to share just one tool that somebody can use, if they are thinking, man, I got 26 more years to do, I'm going to die in this place. What is one GOGI life tool that you can say, just check this one out? What would it be?
Well, on that particular question and scenario, I would say what if?
What if? Okay.
What if?
And how does that work?
What if? Because what if actually gives you the opportunity to see beyond today. It
Uh-huh.
allows you or me to see like tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. So you don't get so caught up in the moment and the heaviness of if you barely come into the system with a life sentence, you
Yeah.
feel that burden, you feel that heavy weight on you. So if you continue to ask yourself, what if I'm not my sentence? What if tomorrow laws change? What if next week uh, the governor changes the law? What if next year, whatever organization, if it's GOGI, if it's ARC, Human Rights Watch, what if they decide to look at cases like mine? What if? So I think if you ask yourself that question in regard to that GOGI tool, what if? I think you start creating hope. You start creating hope, and in that, you start believing in yourself, and you start taking steps towards recovery, towards rehabilitation. What if I got up and started getting educated? What if I wasn't on the yard all day? What if I didn't watch TV all day? What if I picked up the book instead?
How
What
about
if?
this one? What if I take a picture of myself with my brand new car and I text it to Coach Taylor's personal cell phone? Did you ever think of that one?
No.
I got that text today. I love that picture of you in your
Yeah.
car. We have
Yeah.
maybe 4 more minutes of our time together. I want you to share with anyone that's viewing, what is life for you now? I see a picture of the brand new car. You're beaming, you're smiling, you're calling me saying, let's record this because I'm exhausted. I'm working so hard. My parents are happy. Or I guess you're in the garage right now of your parents to get some
Yeah.
quiet time. What does life look now? What's it like?
Well, first of all, it's a blessing. It's a complete blessing now. in that life is busy. Life is real busy, but I would say this, I prepare myself well, but it wouldn't have been possible without GOGI and all the different organizations that work to make this opportunity possible for me, because as I said, I was juvenile life without parole prisoner, so yeah, so all I got to say is just keep, like I used to tell my students, my GOGI students, just keep stacking those dominoes. Keep stacking those dominoes. Just keep chipping away, because that all that you do, every little class you go to, every tool you learn, every coping skill you learn is gonna be a huge benefit once you're out here. There hasn't been a day since I got out that I haven't relied on some coping tools or whatnot, and no matter what, if it's GOGI, if it's 12-step, whatever, but you're gonna need them. You're gonna need them, and aside from that, I mean, life is beautiful. Life is beautiful. I'm making money. I'm got my own car, as you said. I could just come and go as I please, and yeah, it's a blessing, and I have to thank GOGI, Coach Taylor, and everybody else that God put in my path as guardrails to keep me focused and keep me on track and just keep me seeking that light that I seek, which was my freedom, So.
Well, I'm so very proud of you. I'm so happy you shared your story and your tools and all that you're doing now. And I know you will give great amounts of hope to those people that just find themselves just a little below the watermark on hope. They're just not feeling it. I think after hearing you, they will be sparked with new enthusiasm to find their freedom as well.
No, thank you. Thank you, Coach.
I appreciate you very, very much.
No, I appreciate you, and GOGI for life. GOGI
Absolutely. For life. Thank you, Juan. Appreciate it.
Bye, everybody. Have an awesome day. Thank you.